the Titanoboa still exists? A bold claim made by this channel breaking down the scientific anomaly that is the Titanoboa. I'm freaking excited to see if it does. My money's on it doesn't, but maybe they know something. I don't know. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to this channel for more, and let's get into it. Oh, damn. I'm already pulled in. Thick, poopy water. That's like perfect Titanoboa hunting ground right there.
A lot of people are terrified by snakes. This is a serious issue that even has a scientific term.
It's not even logical. I've dated women half my size with scary snakes. They just move so freely. Dude, they're like, I don't know.
Herpetophobia. Many people cannot stand the image of a snake and get severely traumatized when meeting even a harmless snake in the forest.
Okay, calm down.
It's hard to imagine what a person with such a phobia could feel when seeing a huge snake that can swallow a crocodile whole.
To be honest, my phobia is more with smaller snakes. I'm afraid they're gonna bite a hole in me and slither in or slither down my throat or something. When it's big and it can't fit into my orifices, I'm no longer afraid.
And this is not a fairy tale character or a sketch from a horror movie. This monster really lived
Pictured
on our
it going
planet.
like up my butt or something.
Scientists discovered its remains quite recently, in 2009. Or maybe it still lives somewhere.
That's a bold claim, sir. Now we're claiming the Titanoboa may still exist.
The Titanoboa, the largest and most terrible snake of all time.
This just got very intense.
You'll get the answers to all your questions. How huge was it compared to the dinosaurs? How strong was it? Who could it kill? Why might Titanoboa reappear? And many other interesting facts.
That is a bold claim. Might reappear, sir? I wish I could bet money on this, but I feel like you might just be clickbaiting me. I think deep down I just want to gamble.
Titanoboa.
There's good money in gambling.
These were quite routine excavations conducted during the expedition of an international research group. The group was led by Jonathan Block, a vertebrate paleontologist at the
Oh, okay, that's what he studies. I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
University of Florida, and Carlos Jaramillo, a paleobotanist at the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute in Panama.
He's like that hot chick from Jurassic Park.
In the Amazon basin, namely in the coal mines of the Cerrejón Formation in La Guajira, Colombia. Suddenly, scientists stumbled upon something extremely unusual that made quite a stir in the scientific world. The remains of ancient snakes the size that we had never imagined before. According to preliminary calculations, it turned out that these snakes were up to 14 meters.
That is insane, to be honest.
Or even more, and weighed at least a ton. These huge snakes lived in the era of the Middle and Late Paleocene, from about 60 to 58 million years ago. In fact, right after all non-avian dinosaurs went extinct. And this was no exception to the rule. In total, fossils of as many as 30 individuals were discovered. And not only vertebrae, but even 3 whole skulls.
Were those Dimetrodons shown there? I need to look something up. Yeah, dude, Dimetrodons are so freaking old they existed like before the dinosaurs. Showing them for the late Paleocene era is ridiculous. But let's not be nerds.
3 whole skulls.
Dude, I'd love to get my hands on one of those skulls.
The pantheon of ancient giant monsters now has another terrible specimen.
I would kill to have that on my desk. Oh my god. I'd literally murder somebody.
It might seem that the 14-meter, 45.93 feet size is nothing special. Well,
it feels pretty special.
Moreover, it's only 3 meters, 9.8 feet longer than the largest giant anaconda ever recorded, which is 11.43 meters.
Anacondas are monsters, bro.
5 feet long.
Gods of reptiles.
But this is just at first glance.
Ew.
Even if you think about it without a visual illustration, the Titanoboa is a third larger than the giant anaconda. And if you look at a visual representation and compare it with a person, it becomes a little uncomfortable.
That's bananas.
Are you ready? Here is a sketchy and rather bland infographic. Here's a Titanoboa from above.
Sketchy used to mean like a homeless person who might stab you. Now it's a diagraph of beautiful prehistoric snakes. I don't understand language, bro.
It's already quite impressive how small the human figure looks.
Diagraph?
but enthusiasts have taken the trouble to recreate a full-sized Titanoboa in all its glory and dimensions.
Ooh.
One of the most famous reconstructions is at the Smithsonian Institution exhibition.
That skull is insane.
Here it is. As
Look
you
at this
can
little
see,
fedora.
nothing special, just a huge snake eating a crocodile. And this is not an artist's fantasy.
Fun fact, I've used that exact recreation as clickbait before.
Researchers have found plenty of fossilized skeleton parts in the Amazon basin, and they are amazing.
That wasn't fun.
The only thing is, we can't say anything for sure about the color. Most likely, Titanoboa had camouflage coloring, like in the modern python. A dark green shade of scales and dark annular spots throughout the body. But there's no need to guess about the sizes.
I'm 99% sure that's the Isles failed version for the Titanoboa, the model that was like discarded and not used. It's literally in like some Isle modded servers.
Here is another comparison. Left, Titanoboa vertebrae. What's on the right?
That person is
What do you
staring
think?
into my soul,
A
bro.
vertebrae of a grass snake or a common viper?
Dude, that
Well,
vertebrae is
far
insane.
from it. This is the vertebrae of an anaconda, the largest living snake.
Jesus!
Although dinosaurs were already extinct by that time, it would be interesting to imagine how the Titanoboa would coexist with other gigantic reptiles. Let's take one of the most recognizable and also the largest dinosaurs, the Diplodocus. According to some estimates, these monsters reached an average of 27 meters and up to 35 meters, 88.58 to 114.83
I've been saying Diplodocus my whole
feet
life.
from the tip of the muzzle to the tip of the tail. That is, as we can see, the Titanoboa's length barely reached half of the average Diplodocus. However, their weight differed dramatically. Based on various estimates, Diplodocus weighed from 20 to 80 tons. With a mass of up to 1 ton, Titanoboa certainly could not compete with such a monster. To the Diplodocus, the Titanoboa was nothing more than a pipsqueak scurrying around and always getting in the way.
Well, yeah, because snakes have like more hollow bones, right? So it allows more mobility. I don't know whatsoever, but that makes sense.
Although, in all fairness, we should mention that the snake was still very formidable and probably reached a meter at its thickest. At most,
That's pretty
Diplodocus
thick.
probably could stumble on it. For smaller animals, on the other hand, Titanoboa would certainly mean trouble if they had the great misfortune to meet one.
But how are they
Looking at
might
the
come back?
reconstruction, it seems that this monster could swallow not only a crocodile, but a whole rhino. But was it really so?
Could it? That's a bold claim. Rhinos are pretty freaking big. A whole rhino? I don't know. What do you guys think? It's another bold claim right there is what that is. A rhino?
At first, scientists were sure that
Ace
the
Ventura could
Titanoboa
barely
was
fit
the
out of one
top
of their
predator,
butts.
and a quite ferocious and
Ooh.
surreptitious one. Just like pythons, it could have stalked its prey, caught them off guard, put them in a deadly embrace,
I'm using that for clickbait in the future.
strangled, and then swallowed them whole.
Jesus!
Indeed, physically, a Titanoboa was probably strong enough to break all the bones and strangle a horse-sized animal. According
just
to
say a
various
horse.
estimates, the contraction force of this snake's embrace could be as high as 30 kilograms per square centimeter, 400 psi, pound per square inch. In all seriousness, it was believed that the Titanoboa had crocodilomorphs for lunch.
400 psi per square inch. All right. Not
But
very
still,
impressive.
The scientific community wasn't fully unanimous on this. David Pauly, a professor at Indiana University, believed that among other things, this huge snake ate fish.
Bold
As further
claim,
studies
buddy.
showed, the conclusions about the crocodile-eating Titanoboa were far from the truth. In fact, the Titanoboa was more like a blue whale or a whale shark.
No way.
Having a huge size, it ate every little thing, mostly fish. How
Mostly
did we come to
fish?
this conclusion? It was none other but one of the discoverers of the Titanoboa, Jonathan Block. However, he thought so from the very beginning. In 2013, Block and colleagues published a new paper reporting the findings of Titanoboa skulls.
Realism never is very satisfying, isn't it? I mean, I know dinosaurs existed a long time before this, but I think we all like to picture Titanoboas eating raptors, possibly T-Rexes. It's not even logical, but man, it'd be so sweet.
Thanks to them, researchers could clarify the structural features of the snake's head, and hence its diet. It turned out that the Titanoboa
I feel like
had
that guy was
many
on a Gaming
palatine
Beaver video.
and lateral teeth. Also, they weren't very durable. This means that Titanoboa mostly ate relatively small animals
Ah!
and couldn't fight it off. But at the same time, they were slippery and nimble and prone to
You
escape.
telling me I could probably fight off a
Similar structural
Titanoboa?
features were found in modern higher snakes that mainly eat fish. Based on this, the scientists concluded that the most terrible snake of all time was in fact a professional angler, relatively slow and clumsy on the ground, but quite nimble in the water. In a thriving natural environment, the Titanoboa was unlikely to have problems with food sources. With its formidable size and strength, the snake itself definitely wasn't anyone's immediate prey. But it may well have had natural enemies. For example, the giant tortoise Carbonemys. This is suggested by the fact that the remains of these turtles are often found in swamps and lakes alongside the remains of Titanoboas. Their shell was 1.7 meters long. They certainly didn't hunt each other, but they probably fought for food from time to time.
But you insinuated it could eat a rhino. I feel like a rhino is bigger than an I don't know. There's some big rhinos out there.
Because Carbonemys ate the same fish and even hunted the same way, using a disguise. In such fights, the Titanoboa was much less likely to win, despite being significantly larger. Titanoboa could hardly overcome the tortoise's powerful shell and crushing jaws.
God, that'd be like
But
passing
no
a
matter
kidney
how
stone.
formidable competitors the Carbonemys were, if the Titanoboa survived to this day, it would have to face a truly ferocious, cruel, and invincible enemy.
Humans. Oh, plot twist.
Needless to say, these giant snakes would be highly valued by luxury goods manufacturers. Snakeskin products are still incredibly expensive.
I know
and
as
are
a
in
city boy,
demand
I have no
among
ground to speak on with like cowboy apparel and stuff like that. Obviously, cowboy boots serve a huge purpose in life at many times, but like, I don't know, dude. Anyone would wear like exotic animal boots. It's just, you're such a goofball. Like, obviously wearing some animal skin makes sense. Like leather, hide, the animals are being killed anyways, we got it. Or if like a cowboy makes them out of like snakeskin boots that he killed. I'm talking about some like luxurious people who never do outdoorsy stuff, but will still order exotic animal skin from across the planet just because they think it looks nice. I feel like I got my point across. There's a special kind of like douchebag who does this kind of thing.
the sophisticated public. Most likely, if the Titanoboa managed to survive to this day and avoid being killed off, it would be under the strictest international protection. And due to its extreme vulnerability, it would be an exceptionally rare species.
Bro, so it was like the white rhino, and those were like grinded down into Chinese boner pills. I don't know, what are you talking
On
about?
the verge of extinction. On the other hand, the habitat itself would be quite favorable because the Titanoboa wouldn't intersect too much with people. With all its large and small bodies of water, the Amazon basin is one of the most inaccessible places on the planet. Until now,
There's some
more
dudes
and
right
more
there in
new
it.
Animal species are being discovered there,
Most inaccessible place in the planet as we casually drive a boat down it.
which we couldn't even imagine before. So maybe the Titanoboa still exists. We just haven't found it. Unfortunately, no. Such a large biological species would undoubtedly leave some traces.
Yeah,
And
but I
over
hate
so
that
many
leave some
years
traces
of
argument.
Observing the area,
It always makes so
we
much
would have
sense.
found at least the indirect signs. But we only find fossilized remains that are tens of millions of years old.
And that brings us back to my Hollow Earth theory. Although I do not believe that exists with Titanoboas. I believe there may be some other prehistoric creatures in those oceans we keep finding that are below our actual oceans, but not this, no.
But no one says such monsters wouldn't appear in the future.
How's that make
Are
sense?
you saying it's impossible? Well, it would certainly seem so. why on earth would they reappear? But in fact, this is where it gets interesting. To understand why such monsters might appear in the future, we need to look into the past, specifically at the conditions that made their emergence possible. To begin with, let's remember that giants were thriving in those days, from giant ferns to giant dragonflies, not to mention very diverse dinosaur species. Of course, we have huge whales, elephants, and sequoias now. But let's be honest, there are very, very few real giants. This is not even close to the number of monstrous giants who roamed the earth for millions of years. But why was it so?
What a beautiful valley.
And where did they all go? For the most part, the gigantism of certain species was caused by different factors. But as for reptiles, they have a very specific feature. Most of them are cold-blooded or poikilothermic. This term denotes animals with an unstable body temperature that changes based on the temperature of the external environment. As warm-blooded creatures, we can maintain our standard 36.6 degrees Celsius,
Is this a global warming thing?
97.88 degrees Fahrenheit from within. Snakes, on the other hand, need the environment to provide such a temperature. That's why reptiles love to bask in the sun so much. They need heat like air.
Look at those little arms.
The remains of the largest snake in the history of Earth suggests the incredibly hot tropical climate 60 million years ago. At an average temperature below 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit, a python with the weight of a polar bear and the length of a gray whale couldn't survive, and moreover, reach such a size. Titanoboa has become another argument for scientists in proving an important fact. 58 to 60 million years ago, the average annual temperature in the tropics was probably 30 to 34 degrees Celsius, 86 to 93.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Why is that? The enzymes involved in the metabolism of almost every terrestrial organism work best at temperatures between 35 and 40 degrees Celsius.
I'm gonna be honest, man, he's losing me a little bit, but I'm still into it.
104 degrees Fahrenheit. Naturally, the body often spends some extra energy on warming up. This means that the size of the cold-blooded creatures correlates with the average annual temperature. If we assume that Titanoboa's metabolism was similar to that of modern snakes, then it needed an average annual temperature of 30 to 34 degrees Celsius, 86 to 93.2 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 6 to 10 degrees higher than we previously thought. And what is the current situation with the climate in recent decades? That's right. Global warming.
I predicted it like 5 minutes ago. I'm so good.
But with the existing dynamics, there may well arise conditions conducive to the emergence of monsters like the Titanoboa in the future.
Wasn't it also because there was like a lot more oxygen back then or something? I don't know. I'm pretty sure there was a lot more radiation back then, and that's why kaiju existed, but they're all sleeping now, most likely.
Of course, being close to human civilization, with all its harmful effects on nature, would hardly help the Amazon jungle bring a new incarnation of the Titanoboa into existence. But still, according to many paleoclimatologists, the planet will witness very interesting speciation in the future.
Paleoclimatologist sounds like one of those jobs that requires like 20 years of schooling, and then you do it and it pays like $15,000 a year. It's a tough world out there. I think it's a lot more complex than just the temperature. There's got to be like reliable food sources, like that kind of stuff. You have to have a lot more food to sustain a lot bigger creature. The food would have to grow as well, but with like deforestation, the food's not really doing that. I don't know. There's a lot more factors than just warm. Either way, what an informational video. I think we all learned something today. Subscribe to this channel if you guys want to see more awesome scientific breakdowns. Leave a like, subscribe here too, because why not? And I'll see you next time.